And that should not be happening. Nobody should be pushing anybody to be anything. Nobody. If you feel that way on your own, go do it. Great. Fantastic. Sagittarius, you have a change you want to make, and it's kind of scary. So we're going to do a reading. We're going to check out the fears that are holding you back, as well as, best and worst case scenarios and what the potential outcome can be. So if this doesn't resonate with you, check out your sun, moon, and rising and any other prominent placements in your chart. And if it doesn't resonate, I'll catch you next time. All right, so Sagittarius, what's going on? Tell me about the fear that Sagittarius has that may be holding them back from making this change. Ooh. We've got two. We've got Judgment and the Star. Interesting. So it's a fear having to do with making the decision to follow the path that's specifically for you. Your star path is your path. It is the ideal path that you've set up. So there's something called pre-birth planning. Okay, pre-birth planning. I feel and believe that we all do this on the other side, because this is an Earth school, right? Earth school. And so your star path is basically what you have decided that you need to go through in this lifetime. So it's like pre-birth planning at that point, and it's literally programmed into the stars. That's what astrology is. You got to program it into the simulation, right? Because it's a simulation. It's just an Earth school. So it's like you're afraid to actually follow that amazing star path. And then immediately my question goes, why? You're afraid to make the decision to do that. Sagittarius has a particular capability to you guys have a capability to kind of see outside the box, right? That makes the path a little bit on the hard side, right? Scorpio did the job as far as killing, the old ways of thinking and stuff like that, right? That's what Scorpio does. Sagittarius is all about the ambition to starting the new. And for the life of me, I can't remember if you guys are mutable or cardinal. Mutable or cardinal. You're not fixed. But if you... Anyway. I'm trying to intertwine all these different things. We'll get some clarifications on that. Don't worry. For with a full deck. Because this is just the major arcana checking these things. So let's see. What's the worst case scenario of Sagittarius making this change that they're thinking about? What's the worst case scenario for Sagittarius, please? Making this change? Worst case scenario for Sagittarius, please, for this change. What could happen potentially? Got dark outside suddenly. Nope. Split. Okay. This one. Worst case scenario, the Fool. Interesting. That's the worst case scenario. Now it could actually mean, because it's worst case scenario, you actually feel like a fool for doing it, right? It could actually mean something like that. You're like, boy, that was dumb. Kind of one of those things. Boy, that was dumb. But it could also be where the worst case scenario, you disregard the dangers or we've got death popping out while I'm talking about it. Disregard the dangers. It's funny, I say dangers and death pops out. So if whatever you're thinking about doing, if it's, you know, inherently risky, I would definitely make sure that you fully look at the risks and get lots of perspectives on it. Look, the death card came out again, dude. Came out again. So if it's inherently risky, you better look at it. Don't be stupid, right? Don't be stupid about it. Don't be, you know, flippant about, like that worst case scenario, you're flippant about everything and you ignored all the red flags about what's going on, and it creates this major change in your life. What did it come out this time? Hierophant. Creates this major change in the life. That's not going to be pretty. All right, what's the best case scenario? Got a kitty down here. Best case scenario, the wheel. I like that. The wheel is, you know, like 100% life change. You know, 100% life change for sure. It's going to change everything about what your life is going to do. Where it's going to go. Changes your perspective completely. Instead of facing north, you're facing west. You know what I mean? Completely different direction. If you're coming up on your Saturn return, this is an astrological thing. If you're coming up on your Saturn return, like you're about 28, 29-ish, this is probably a change that you need to take. And that's why you've got fear of actually following your star path. Your nodes are pulling on you hard. Your nodes are pulling on you hard. And what you're thinking, you're like, I don't know if I can do this. But a lot of times your Saturn return will force you to make these changes. It will force you to make the changes. And if you don't, it'll make your life hell. That kind of thing. My Saturn return was rough. It was so tough. It was so tough. And it is for a lot of people, but a lot of times if you're on the right path in the first place, it's really not that bad. All right. Thing is that my Saturn return was tough, but the thing is that my Saturn is conjunct my Pluto. Fun times. So transit Saturn on top of my natal Pluto and my Saturn. Oh, horrible. It was just horrible. All right, what's the potential outcome for Saturn, Jesus Christ. For Sagittarius, please. Potential outcome for this change. Potential outcome, please. Most likely outcome, let's do that. Not potential outcome, we're going to do most likely. What's the most likely outcome for Sagittarius for making this change? I'm like dropping the whole deck here. It's hard to shuffle with like 19 cards. Let's do it. Okay, we're going to split. The moon. Something tells me you're going to be more in touch with your emotions. For sure. You're going to end up more in touch with your emotions. Something just popped in my head that somebody may be considering transitioning. So if that's you, this is definitely for you. If you're considering transitioning, I can see why you would worry about the risks on this for sure. Because there's a lot of risks associated that nobody wants to talk about. So the outcome here, we've got the moon. This definitely talks about emotions and being aware of your emotions, feeling them fully. Something going into a secret. Something going into secret. Something going into hiding. What's going into hiding? I need clarification. Let's do this. I've got questions, man. All right, let's talk about this fear here. Show me for Sagittarius why this fear, the star, and judgment is here. What is this? Tell me more about this. Show me more. Yeah. The transitioning like idea here does look like that. It follows with this. So if that's you, this is a reading for you. But I mean, it could fit for other people's stuff too. So if it's not you, then that's fine. But if specifically if you're questioning whether you should transition, take heed. Take heed. Nope. Okay. All right. So tell me more about the Star and the Judgment, please. We've got the Knight of Wands coming out. A lot of passion, a lot of emotion. It's like you're recognizing that you're feeling something, feeling something about it, and you're kind of trying to shut that down. So you're trying to shut it down from this side, but yet over here you're going to feel it more on this side. That's interesting. All right. Tell me more. Here we go. Here's the cards I need. Okay, so Nine of Cups, Seven of Swords, and the Knight of Wands. Gotcha. So what this is saying to me is that you're afraid, like I said, you're afraid that you're afraid to see your star path, right? It's almost like you're afraid to take the path you're supposed to go down. You're worried about it. You're like, am I actually supposed to go down this path? Am I actually supposed to do this? And with this, with the idea of this path excites you, with this Knight of Wands, it excites you and you're like, yeah! This is the knight who's just like, let's do this. Last of the Mohican style, right? Let's do this. But you're concerned that your happiness after this would be false. That's what you would be concerned, that your happiness after this would be false or would be fake. If I am talking to a Sagittarian who's looking at transitioning, if I am, there are a lot of risks these days. I'm not a transphobe by any means. Now, the thing is, I sit here and I say that and everybody's like, oh God, here we go. It's not about that. I'm concerned about how much they're pushing it these days, and I think you are too. And so you feel like you can't get any unbiased information about it. That's not weird. And that doesn't feel weird to you, and so, or feel biased or focused on some other thing. One of my closest friends, is a trans man, and so he is also literally intersexed as well. But he went through something very similar, because I asked him in detail like what he went through. And back when he started transitioning when he was like 20. Started transitioning when he was 20, and he was just like, I want to make sure I'm not making a stupid mistake. And he went through therapy for a few years. Few years to make sure that it wasn't something up here that was making him think that changing to a different gender would be an escape from him. You know what I mean? So he went through therapy and everything, and then finally, and he's really kept his head about it and everything. He fell into the LGBTQ plus whatever crowd for quite a time, which I was a part of as well, but this was like 15 years ago. So the LGBTQ community back then was not the same as it is now. It's absolutely not the same. And so, but he fell into that, and then he immediately pulled himself right back out of it, because he's like, I'm terrified, because he's seeing his own personal friends. Did I warn you that I have construction going outside? Sorry. I'm moving. It'll be gone next time. So anyway, so he's watching like his own personal close friends, like this one girl who was very, very girl, very, very girl, very straight, very, whatever, but she was friends with the trans community. and close friends with them. And then suddenly, like overnight, she wanted to be a man. Overnight. Wanted to be a man. Went to transition, had a double mastectomy done, had all this other stuff. 2 years later, she detransitioned, causing permanent damage to like her voice. You know, she no longer has breasts, and she doesn't know if she can, you know, have kids that now she wants to do. She's like 28 now. And I feel like, and I'm putting this back to you here, Sagittarius, is that if this is you and you're concerned about the same thing, your fears are valid. Okay? Your fears are valid. Do not let anybody tell you or coerce you into doing anything that you don't feel good with. If you don't feel 100% sure about what you are doing, don't do it. Go, you know, do like what my friend did. He went and sought mental health, you know, help with a psychologist and psychiatrist. Not somebody who's just going to put you on medication, okay? You want a psychotherapist, somebody who's going to talk you through what's going on in your head. And you could even like check to see if like you have, like what my friend did also is that he went and got his blood chromosomes checked. And so he was born female presenting with an XY chromosome. So he's literally intersexed, and it's created a lot of health problems for him. He's had a lot of health problems since he was born because of he had a twin that he ended up absorbing, I guess, because like his mom was pregnant with twins at the time. And it created this chimera thing. Chimera situation, not thing, I'm not going to say that, but chimera situation for him. And it created a lot of major health problems for him. So if that's something that you think about that may have happened, especially if you know that your mom had a twin that disappeared with you, go get your blood checked. Go get it checked and everything. And maybe that'll help you come to terms with how you feel on which way you need to go. Because you may feel like you don't fit in. You don't fit in with society because you don't fit one box or the other. And I'm going to say it doesn't matter. Now, the thing is that you're like, oh, sure, you can say that because you're a woman, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Okay, fine. Okay, I get that. But literally look at how tolerant a lot of people are of the trans community. Sure, there's a lot of intolerance, but I think the intolerance has to do with excessive behaviors, which you're not doing. It doesn't seem like you're doing that. So I've gone on this huge rant about this. Let's keep moving. If this is you, because this is what it's feeling like to me. Somebody's trying to transition and is worried about it. You're afraid that you're going to make a mistake. And that's a very good fear. That's a very good fear because it keeps your feet on the ground. So let's do this here. Worst case scenario, the Fool. Tell me more about this. Yeah, like you ignored the red flags, you ignored the signs, you ignored the information here. Look, the Fool came out again. And the Nine of Swords. Let's put those away because there's too many. One more card, please. What's meant to come out will come out. Ace of Swords. Okay. Interesting. Judgment and the Moon tried to come out again too. Okay, so we've got the Fool, Nine of Swords, Ace of Swords coming out again. So feeling ridiculous, even though you saw the stress and strain and you know what the truth is. So it's possible that you know what your truth inside you actually is. It could be, you know, yes, this is something you need to do and everybody's trying to talk you out of it. Or it could be, no, I shouldn't do this, and people are trying to talk you into it. Okay? Don't let anybody talk you into it. You be you. Okay? Just do what you want to do and not for what somebody else wants. Don't do it just to fit in. There's a lot of people that are doing things just to fit in with their groups and be different. The thing is that you're different on your own. You're different on your own. There's nobody out here like you. Nobody. Oh, I want to cry. Okay. All right. So Wheel of Fortune here. What's this here? Tell me more about this best case scenario. Wheel of Fortune. We've got the Four of Cups that popped out. wheel. We've got the King of Swords. King of Swords, one more please. Show me. For Sagittarius, for best case scenario. There we go. Ace of Wands. Okay. Four of Cups, King of Swords, Ace of Wands. Okay. So, you know, major change in your life, right? Everything changes completely different direction from where you were at before. This right here, the Four of Cups, says you were kind of like meh about it. Kind of like you had certain expectations about it, but you're just like, all right. It's kind of accepting, but at the same time, not really. The King of Swords is very much a decision maker who's just like, all right, well, I'm going to take it because I did it. I did it. But you are going to find that, whoa, that was loud. With this Ace of Wands, I think that's a golf cart. I don't know what that was. Let's see. Ace of Wands. This is... You know what I feel like this Ace of Wands is I feel like you're going to find your fire within yourself. Which is a really good thing. You're going to find your fire within yourself. Not out here. All in here. I do feel like you're going to feel like everything that's out here doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. What matters is who you are in here. And you'll really actually be able to see that. Okay. Tell me about the moon. Tell me about the moon, please. All right. Wheel of Fortune again. Six of Cups, King of Wands, and the Hierophant. So change is to occur. You know, the most likely result is that change will occur, of course. Because you're going to make a change. Doesn't mean you're going to make the change that you're looking at now, but you're going to make some sort of change. But it's going to be something about having to do with your past. Six of Cups. Past and your old memories of things, as well as your childhood and everything. And you're going to really take some motion forward. The Hierophant symbolizes, a lot of times in many of my readings, they've come up as like a therapist. So I think that if you'll take action going to go see a therapist, that way then you can see what's happening. Be very sure about what you're doing. And see, but I'm going to put it out there. I'm seeing a lot of like therapists that will push people one way or the other. And that should not be happening. Nobody should be pushing anybody to be anything. Nobody. If you feel that way on your own, go do it. Great. Fantastic. But it's the coercion that I can't stand. It's the coercion. And the thing is that I don't know what's going on with the whole trans community these days. It's alarming. It's alarming that people are being coerced into doing this. And then they're like, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. And I hate that. I hate it. Because I want people to be happy. I want you to be yourself. And the thing is that people who transitioned and weren't happy with their transition and transitioned, they weren't happy with themselves. They escaped themselves and realized that's what I just did and detransitioned. So that's why I'm hoping that this kind of looks like you might seek out a good therapist who's open-minded, stands in the middle in regards to things, not one way or the other, okay? Not one way or the other, because you don't want someone far right, you don't want someone far left. You don't want either of those. You want someone in the middle who's balanced. Someone who can see both sides and understand and accept it and not coerce you to do either way. Unless it's in your best interest. Of course, you have to learn to trust that. It's hard to say if someone actually has your best interest. It takes me a long time to do that. I don't know about you. Probably you too. Oh, all right, Sag. This has gone for 25 minutes. That's a long time for these. I've, lectured you quite a bit. I'm sorry. I hope this helps, though. I really do hope it helps. And I'll see you next time.